Time now for What the Farage, and with a record-breaking 45,000 migrants illegally crossing the English Channel last year, many of whom have been housed in luxury hotels on the taxpayers' dimes, Britain's borders are at breaking point. In a bid to fulfil Rishi Sunak's pledge of stopping the boats, the government is expected to soon introduce a raft of legislation to, among other things, tighten modern slavery laws and weed illegitimate claims out of the asylum system. The hope, according to government insiders, is the PM will be able to unite his fractured party around this pressing issue, with those on the right getting restive, according to The Spectator, about the threat posed by right-wing challengers like Reform UK, after David Cameron infamously dismissed the political power of Nigel Farage's UKIP. And they have reason to worry, with Reform polling at almost half the Conservative vote share as of last month. So, will the Tories be able to mobilise in time to see off their rivals at the ballot box? Well, Brexit poker, GB News star, but for the purpose of this discussion, also the founder of Reform UK, Nigel Farage, joins me now. So, Nigel, it's taken a long time, but it feels like Rishi Sunak is finally waking up to the threat Reform UK poses to the Tories.
Yes, ever so slowly, they've realised there is a massive problem. And you're right, of course, to quote David Cameron. David Cameron thought nothing to the right of the Conservatives could ever threaten them as he dragged it ever more leftwards. So, yes, they understand there's a massive problem here. The question is, what are they actually going to do? They're talking about new legislation that will say that no one that comes via this route can claim asylum. People will be deported. Well, I would answer that firstly by saying we've heard all that before from Priti Patel, from Suella Braverman. But here's the point. Nothing they do will work. All the while, British judges can rely on the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights, backed up by their court in Strasbourg. And is Rishi Sunak really going to pledge to take us out of that? I don't think Mr. Goody Two-Shoes would do that in a month of Sundays. So once again, we get the Conservatives promising the earth, but unable to deliver because they won't take the tough action. So no, I don't see it happening.
I think he's not going to do that. Personally, as you know, I think that's a huge mistake. The other thing that really interested me about this piece and showed actually that maybe they haven't quite cottoned on yet to how much of a crisis this issue is they talk about the idea of repeating the famous Boris Brexit slogan at the next election, get Brexit done, but instead say, get boats done. But the problem is, Nigel, the boats have to be done before the next election or the Tories are finished. They will be wiped off the electoral map. We're losing patience.
Yes, I mean, get Brexit done clearly made sense. Whilst it was the Tories that had blown it, it was a new leader that had come in on the back of what had happened in those European elections. It was logical. It made sense. You can't say get the boats done if you're Rishi Sunak 2 years in. And I would add to this, and it's worth noting this for all of you, the numbers that crossed the Mediterranean in 2022 were over 300,000, a 45% increase on the year before. And hey, guess what, guys? The number one destination is the UK. So if you thought 45,000 was a lot last year, you ain't seen nothing yet. So how can Sunak say to the country, I've been your prime minister for 2.5 years, and I admit I failed, but now I will. It doesn't add up. It doesn't work. If they want to win the next election, they've got to do this now.